Peace and blessings to everybody once again. Here we go. Here we go. Thank y'all for tuning in once again to the podcast show, Bringing Forth Reality. My name is Quillen Brown, aka Rashad Abdul Haq. I want to send out again another thank you, and for everybody that has subscribed, liked, and shared, and keep coming. Keep subscribing, liking, sharing. We're going to have more subjects, more things that we bring forth and that we throw back and forth with each other, because it's all about us growing and elevating and advancing, right? So this is a continuation of our topic, spiritual warfare. Like I say, the spiritual warfare is basically comes from the within us. It's from the inside of us. So we dealing with forces. Well, we dealing with forces. We dealing with good forces, bad forces, if we want to label them good and bad. But they opposing. They two different forces. So this is the whole the meat of the spiritual warfare. Now, are we advancing? This is the question to pose for us, right? Today, everything that's going on in right now, the wars overseas, the conflicts in different places throughout the world, the conflict is going on here in the West, over here in America. The conflict is going on with you. The conflict is going on with your family, your loved ones, the people you know. The conflict going on with me. Everything all the conflicts that we dealing with, right? And our advancement from time that passed years ago all the way up to now. Are we advancing? Is the question. Are we advancing or are we regressing? Are we advancing or are we regressing? Cam posed a question to me on the last segment, and we got right into it on dealing with that's how we came introduce this topic, the spiritual warfare. And like I said, it's the forces we dealing with. And, we dealing with things that's non-seen. Psychologically, remember, this is what the core of when we talk about the issues and bringing forth reality. It's a psychological thing. It's mind over matter. We have to be able to squash the matter and then elevate the mind, because it's just physical. Remember, it's going to be like rubbish. So, are we advancing or are we regressing? I posed this question to the youth at times. I posed it to my son before and some other youths that I mentor. Do you think right now that this day and time, with all the technology and everything that's going on, all the advancements, all the these new little old it's systems, machinery, all this stuff, we are advanced more than our ancestors, our ancient ancestors. And he said, we quick and in a hurry. Oh yeah, man, we got technology now. This and that, right? And most people say that, right? And I told him, I said, okay, let me show you something though. I can show you, I can tell you, I can prove to you that we not. He said, I said, yeah, I can prove to you we not. We're not more advanced than we were then. So now this is what I gave him. So yeah, we got all these things, right? We got the computer, we got we got all of this stuff, right? We got all these different gadgets and all that. We got all these different high tech equipments and all that type of stuff. So, how much of our mind, of our intellect are we using? Just like we talked about before, right? Just think about it. How much are we using? Right? Just to even short, probably the last 30 years, we have digressed. Most people don't even know how to if they need to grow some food, grow it. You know, I remember when we came up, when we had youth, we had to work in the field. When we moved to the country from the city, we had to work in the field. You know, so at least we knew how to pick it. We knew how a couple of things, you know, to plant the seed in the ground and grow or whatever. Then also be able to harvest it, take care of it, you know, pick it and sell it. So it's a business. See, so it was a 3-in-1 right there. You know, and that's one of the things that I'm doing too with my nonprofit. But let's stick to this. So that was a 3-in-1. So I say, are we advancing or are we regressing? Let's think about it. The last 30 years, 40 years, we done degressed. That's one example. Most of the kids don't even know how to, most of them don't even know how to use the regular tools that you would use even if you was on the farm or even somewhere, you ain't got to necessarily be on the farm or somewhere that you have some type of industry going on right there on the land, right? Some type of operation on the land. Most don't know how to drive a tractor, you know, even to do, because these things are needed when you're talking about the food you eat. These people drive tractors to plant that stuff. That's the food that we get, the vegetables and the fruits, right? That's the only way you get them. That's the only way we can get them to consumer now. But it used to be, when we flipped it over, when you went back 100 years, used to be most families grew their own. See, and this is a degress, because what we're doing now, just like Cam said, whatever we taking now, we taking in a whole bunch of artificial stuff. That's the regress. It's a whole bunch of tons of different examples that we can go. So now you're not even healthy as you were 100 years ago. When you're talking about my grandmother, and I just had my grandmother, basic recipes, just passed, one of my mother's mother, but my grandmother on my father's side, I remember that all of them, though, she lived to be 96. She just passed. My grandmother on my father's side lives to be 102. Well, it might be some things that they took in that wasn't good, you know. But they ate pork and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, that stuff ain't no good. Eventually, certain things we have to figure out that, you know, because we conditioned through our past history, through the oppression. We just talked about the oppression on the one before. That was part of the oppression, the oppressor, handing down for you. Your only thing is, or the main thing that you could eat was the pork, right? And that's no good. And it's a fact that ain't no good. There ain't even nothing to wrestle about, right? You go check it out, right? The filthiest animal on earth. So now, that's a regression right there. Not eating healthy food. We eating poison. We eating all this artificial stuff, right? That's a regression. So, you know, what else you want? You want something else? Okay, now, how many pills we take? This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. A multi-billion-dollar industry, pharmaceutical drugs. If you go back 100 years, how many drugs was in how many pills we had? When I asked my grandmother that, what was the cancer at? I asked the one that just passed. I said, where the cancer was at? What kind of cancer they had? She said, it wasn't none. She was born in 1929. That's not a regression. So, I mean, remember, we're bringing forth reality. We're bringing in reality. I don't care how much it hurt me, you know, or you. We're looking at this thing on a reality standpoint. Now, let's look at something else. Back when we talking about our ancestors, right? Let's not even talk about the pyramids. They put them together without machines. And right now, today, they can't even figure out, with all this technology, lasers, technology. They can't even figure out how they got them within the sitting on the where they're sitting at in every pyramid, every block, how it's so precise to the millimetric. They can't even figure it out today. But we advancing. Let's think about this. Now remember, we trying to use that intellect, right? But we advancing. We can't even, that's what they did back then, right? So another thing, what about the astrologers? Then it was astrologers. Well, no telescope. We got telescopes now. We got the Doppler radar. We got all this stuff. How was they able to tell us what's going on out there in the atmosphere? They could tell that. It's proven fact. These are recorded. These because they meditated. They didn't have distractions. There was no TV. There was no radio. There is no a phone and a game that you can play on all the time. Got your mind all comboggled. Yeah, it's just burning up the brain, right? They seeking for elevation and knowledge every minute, every second because they meditate. That's that spiritual side again. You elevating to the next level. They might meditate for days. So that's a short, real fast. We just looked at several different things and showing you how we not advanced more than we were yesterday. Now, if you can fight that, then I don't know what you're fighting with because you don't have nothing to fight with right there. Even if I wanted to fight it, it can't fight it. That's showing us a plain, clear-cut view of something that we can see that's solid evidence that we are not advancing. Now, I actually pick this up again because it's a whole bunch of different areas that we can talk about and then we can pinpoint that where we have degress. That if we turn that around, where we can be, where we can go. Remember, we're trying to elevate. We're trying to motivate. We're trying to lift high. We're trying to go high, higher level. We want to get to that plane. We want to get to remember where Adam and Eve was in the garden. Remember the Garden of Eden? That's a higher plane, right? That's just a higher level. So we trying to get there. We done ran short. I appreciate y'all once again. I hope, pray. I want us to get something every time. I want us to be able to grab something so we can get it and go and take it and digest it and see where we coming up short at, where we need to go back to our original selves because we already got this stuff in us. We just don't know it's been oppressed. It's been depressed. That's part of the spiritual warfare. That's part of the spiritual warfare right there. The oppressing, the depressing, the dumb downing of the individual too, because that opposition has used that type of tool psychologically to get you to be in that diminished level. I'm gonna sign out. Appreciate y'all once again. Quillen Brown, Rashad Abdul Haq, also known as Rashad Abdul Haq. Like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody. I will be. I'm to blame. I'm at fault, but I will get this together so I get the edited version out, and then so I'll be able to tell everybody that when we're going to start publish this again, and then put it back out there, and then everybody can whatever the different avenues they want to go to order it. Hope to see y'all on the next show. Peace and blessings.